Something that comes up very often in my practice is insecurities. And so many of us, in fact, everyone has insecurities about something at some point in their lives. Some of us have experienced it occasionally, some of us experience it all the time, but we all struggle with insecurities. What do you do with yours? How does your insecurity impact your life, and where does it come from? So for a lot of people, their insecurities go way back, and they go back to some of their experiences growing up. Some people had some trauma, maybe loss, maybe there was a bullying, maybe there was abuse. But sometimes our insecurities date way back to when we were kids. Sometimes it has to do with failure or rejection in our lives, or maybe it has to do with our tendency to compare ourselves with others. In today's world, with all the social media out there, we compare ourselves with others all the time, and it's so easy to do that, and it's a big mistake because it's not often an accurate comparison when we look at social media, because really, when you think about it, most of what people post is perfect. It's great, it's fantastic. They're not going to post negative things or bad things about themselves, but we still look at it and compare ourselves. So that's another one that can affect insecurities, our need for perfection. For so many of us, it's never good enough. We're never good enough. And that has an amazing impact on self-esteem. We're critical, we're hard on ourselves, we beat up on ourselves. It happens all the time. And unfortunately, when our insecurities are high, and when it consumes us, it can affect our work performance, our work productivity. It can affect our mood. Some people with insecurities struggle with depression and anxiety. For some people, it affects their social interactions and their social situations, their relationships. Often people with insecurities find themselves drawn to other insecure people, or people that maybe are not the best fit for them. So when we're insecure, we might make bad choices in our relationships. So what do we do with it? How do we deal with insecurity? Since we can't avoid it completely, we can't just eliminate it completely, how do we deal with it? So the first thing is we accept it. We accept that we're all insecure about something. And that's part of our humility. That's part of accepting that we're not perfect. And it's okay to not be perfect. And it's okay to sometimes feel inadequate or insecure or anxious about a situation or a circumstance. The other thing we can do is we can identify the good things in ourselves, our positive attributes. In fact, often I will tell patients to make a list of 10 things that you like about yourself, or 10 positive attributes, and put them on index cards. So you have a card, a pile of cards, and each card has one positive attribute. And when you wake up in the morning, you read those 10 cards. You read all 10. It sets the tone for the day. And then at the end of the day, before you go to bed at night, you read all 10 again. You rise with the 10 positive attributes, and you end your day on that same positive note. We need to start focusing on the good things in ourselves, because so many of us have this inner critic, this inner voice that just beats up on ourselves left and right. Often we are the hardest on ourselves. If I were to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and say, "You're stupid, you're ugly, you're an idiot," after a while I would believe that. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It doesn't matter if other people are telling me differently. If that's the voice, if those are the thoughts that I generate every day, it will become my belief. So we need to change our inner critic and make those voices more positive, more constructive. Of course, physical activity can help our self-esteem, can help our self-confidence. Being physically active can make us feel good about ourselves, not just because we might look better, but because we'll feel better. We'll feel better physically, and the endorphins and the chemicals that are released by exercise are big, are huge. Something else that I think is very helpful for self-esteem building is being able to be assertive, be direct, be able to communicate effectively with others, set good boundaries, be able to say no without guilt. Some people struggle with this one so much. I think it's very important to have assertiveness if you want to have self-esteem and self-confidence. Something else that I find very helpful for people that struggle with self-esteem is self-forgiveness. We need to forgive ourselves when we mess up, when we make a mistake. People with good self-esteem have the ability to forgive themselves. We all make mistakes. It's part of life. But self-forgiveness, self-acceptance, and self-praise all contribute to building our self-esteem and reducing those insecurities that can overwhelm us. Stop comparing yourself with everyone around you and look inside. And remember, our faith and having a God that created us in His own image can also have a positive effect on our self-worth and our self-esteem. Certainly our relationships can impact our self-worth. Do you surround yourself with people that are constantly putting you down or very critical or very hard on you? Those aren't good people to be hanging with. Hang with people that are supportive, that are encouraging. Yeah, they may challenge you, which is great, but they're ultimately loving and respectful and supportive. Those are the people that you want to hang with. And remember that self-esteem is an inside job. It comes from within. So if we look at our wealth, our status, our material possessions, all external, that's the wrong place to be looking. Because it's never enough for people that focus on those external things. It's never good enough, and it's never enough because you buy one expensive item and then you buy another, and it lasts temporarily, but it doesn't last forever. So remember that self-esteem is an inside job. If you want to eliminate some of those insecurities, work on internally generating some of those things. And remember that it's up to you. You can't rely on other people to build your self-esteem in and of themselves. It's an inside job, and it's time to take action. Work on building self-esteem, and you'll eliminate much of your insecurities. Until next time, Dr. Tony for Ready.